on. Break dance.
I can totally see him break dance.
High school kid break dance.
I had my parachute pinches. I had my free pair of them. The boy zipper's the best.
You still wear them?
Welcome in. This is Bridging Civil Tension. This is the show here at 21.6 The Net where we talk about things, well, that cause a little bit of civil tension. Right. But Phil Wallace and I feel, hey, let's talk about it and let's build a bridge instead of blow it up, because you never know when you can do that. Now, let's have a conversation. Let's move on. Right. You go your way, I go mine, or we hook arms and go and walk the bridge together, right? Of course, Phil Wallace, if you don't know by now, author, entrepreneur, coach, let's rewind. Father, man, that's number one, right? Pops. He's father. He is entrepreneur, author, clothing line, mentor, coach, gives so much. It's amazing, this guy. And again, I'm going to leave it up to you which part of this show you want to play. Are we sticking with, you want to stay consistent?
Consistency is key.
So you're going to take the African-American.
I don't want to shake people up too much.
Okay, fair enough.
But you know, I think
He did wear the flannel.
flannel with the hat. I mean, you know, we're prejudging.
Right.
Holy cow! Watch out, guys.
That's it.
I knew Scott was here. Would have been comfortable.
Hey, are you comfortable
But
with
he ain't
being
got
uncomfortable
But he ain't
that
got
I'm
his boots
here?
on today.
Yeah.
It was snowy, but he did
Yeah.
wear it.
The question is, though, are you comfortable with being uncomfortable with
Oh,
me
my
being here?
I love it.
That's
That
it.
was our topic earlier.
You're always welcome, dude.
That's it. And of
But
course,
you forgot to say, though, that on top of all the awesome things he is, he's just a damn great human.
he is. He's a good human being.
And that
Yeah.
for me is first and foremost.
Yeah.
He's a damn great human, and everything
That's it.
else happens because of the greatness that he has and the passion that he has for what he does.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you, brother.
No more
Did
Scots.
the handshake outside.
And I got it right. And Pierre's like, am I missing something?
So I think
Why am I not let in on this?
Yeah, I think every time you're up here is like a storm or it's 8
Yeah.
inches. I mean, you come up from Texas and all of a sudden it's like a
brings all the
snowstorm
shit.
all the time.
Yeah. What's up with these dark skies all of a sudden, brother?
So first off, last time I was here, it was beautiful, which was October.
Because you were
Yeah.
here.
It was nice.
It was.
my outburst.
Now this foolishness, I don't want to say it. I don't like it.
That's it. From the great state of Texas, come back up here all the time, visit and hang out. Do you have a role you want to play today for all the people out there on the radio? You have a choice. You could be a white fella, or you could go and be African American.
He's going to be Pierre.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. So it could be anything.
That's
Depends on the situation.
He's
the
choosing,
survey says.
he's choosing to change as
That's
he
right.
needs to change.
That's right. That voice over there. So Eric, good morning, says wearing his bedazzled pants. And here's a guy.
Texas sucks.
Texas sucks. Boomer.
Wow, Eric has just been banned from this show today.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, just want to reiterate. I'm originally from Chicago, born and raised, and then I lived in Elgin. I just live in Texas.
That's it. Now
He just likes warm weather.
Hey, I don't
That's
think
it.
it's
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's all. Great
And-
barbecue.
great barbecue.
Why is that always what they bring up in Texas?
Right.
Everything's bigger in Texas. than
Right.
great
Eric, you're
barbecue.
what?
That's it.
Eric, you're
It's a
Omaha.
great state
Are you
to
an
live.
Omaha guy? Is that Omaha or Nebraska? One of those two over there. I think Omaha.
I just got ridiculed from somebody. You know what?
Jessica says, "Yay, Friday." Eric says, "Forgive him." Very good.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. That's it. That's it.
Sooners.
Oklahoma.
Oh,
That's it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's always that battle. The OKC, right? Yeah. The 405, the good racers.
A
Down
good
there.
race. Oh, yeah. A little hot rod.
And of
racing.
course, we've got Scott Giles. Scott is going to be playing Scott. So he has been
The
termed.
wild card.
He is,
I'm going to be playing the pissed off white guy.
yeah, he is. He's the guy that if you've ever listened to the show and say you just got Scotted, that's the guy.
Those are the
Right there.
comments that go on bumper stickers
Yeah.
and T-shirts.
I'm
And could get you killed
It
depending
could-
on the situation
depending
you're in.
on the situation. Understand that. And of course, I'm Kent. I'm founder, owner, CFO here, president of DDOE, which is the mother company for 21.6. And I'll stay consistent.
Husband, father,
husband,
And just
father.
a damn great
Yeah.
human. Everything
Yeah.
else falls in
And
place.
I'll play the white part.
Great. Whip.
So a lot of people with pink skin very upset that Tinkerbell is now African American.
Why can't Tinkerbell be African American?
What are you talking about? Haven't you watched Disney?
Yeah,
It's little white fairy.
right. But why can't people adjust it to what they feel is the way it should be?
What are you talking about?
Well, if I want Tinkerbell to be Chinese or African American,
Leave your
or
fantasies out of
pink,
this, bro.
or pink, that's up to me.
There's certain
The
rules
character
and
was created.
guidelines that Neverland runs on, Scott.
Yeah, that's just the way it is.
There's flying crocodiles and little mermaids.
Yeah.
I like flying. That's like pigs flying too, right?
So there's a ton of controversy right now about this. A ton of
Crazy.
Controversy.
Shahidi.
And I scratch my head on why. Right?
That's my question.
That's what I do. I scratch my head on why, because it's a fictional person. It's a fictional thing.
Well, isn't it just
It's not even a
somebody
person.
just giving people something to complain about and bitch about, right? I mean, they're creating more problems than they need to. I mean, why would I spend really a lot of any of my energy going, why do I give a flying rat's ass that you think Tinkerbell is African American? I don't care. That's your
what we're
choice,
trying to figure out.
right? But for
So-
me, it's an individual choice, and whether I let somebody saying that Tinkerbell is African American bug me and cause me to go into an uproar is my
Yeah, don't worry,
my
buddy.
problem,
Right.
not yours, right? Our reality is what we choose and how we perceive things. That makes our reality, right? If you perceive things that Tinkerbell's African American, not white, well, and it bothers you, well, that's your choice. Sorry, move on. I mean,
Okay.
why would you spend days and hours and stuff debating it?
So, I'm gonna throw out a name, Holly Berry.
Okay.
Right, where I come from, it's called good eating. Right. Hey.
Yes.
Right. All right. Let's just right now, Holly.
I don't even know where to go from that. I think it's time for me to leave.
Now, Holly Berry. Hey, Holly Berry. Right.
It's Haley, just so you know.
Whatever.
Haley.
Well, however you say it. Right.
Hot Bailey.
She passes away. Right. And there's a movie about her. And they get the Wendy's, Wendy's. So it's a redheaded, freckle-faced girl that plays her part,
Right,
in her biography or whatever. Do we have an issue with that?
of a real person.
Yeah, of a real person.
Of Wendy being a white, red-haired, freckled girl.
Yeah. Do we have an issue with? So we choose a redhead, pasty white girl to play that part. Do we have an issue with that?
It's what they. I mean, I don't so much have an issue with it. It's just
Okay. What about you?
It's just somebody that company decided to have as their face of the company, right? Who chose it? Why they chose it? I don't know.
So what about y'all?
I love that you're asking this question hypothetically.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't already happen.
I'm just saying.
Right, like it happens all the time.
Right.
So like if it happened for Halle Berry, you'd probably hear about it, but you wouldn't hear like shock. You'd be like, they're doing it again.
Yeah.
Right. Because so many historical figures that like the description of them is clearly not from Sweden or whatever else. We have to accept that the last samurai is Keanu Reeves.
I think
So
Okay.
billions of people.
I think that's Ted, isn't
And
it?
you got Bill and Ted as the
Right.
last samurai. And
That's an excellent adventure there.
Right.
I just don't trust his she like that. I watched this dude fly through a telephone booth.
Right. Exactly. I still, you watch it, John Wick. I still see that. Bill
But
and Ted.
I mean, even on Paul,
Right.
Paul Mooney said with this, he goes, at this rate, there's going to be a movie called The Last, and he says the N word is played by Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Because it's just so frequently
So
that
true.
Pierre dies and Tom Hanks is going to act as
That's so
Pierre.
true. That's so
Hey, that's
true.
just the people that chose to have him represent, just like the red-haired,
So-
freckle-filled girl is the girl that
Right.
Wendy's wants to represent their brand.
Jake from
Why did
State
they do
Farm.
it? Why did they do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
What was their motivation? I don't know. Did they want to be disrespectful to any other, people? Who knows? I doubt it. I mean, they were trying to hit on something
Yeah.
that just the masses
Right.
can appeal to or understand.
Hey,
Is it
Jake from
wrong?
State Farm.
Maybe,
My
but
brother made
it's
a
what they
switch.
chose, and it's their life. It's their life, and it's their choice. It's their business to choose.
Jake
that.
originally, the true Jake, he was African American. The
The
true
who?
Jake. The guy with khakis.
Jake from State Farm.
No, I have no idea. I'm just saying that. All right, so here's why I ask that. There was an award-winning run of a play called Hamilton, an award-winning, fantastic play. If you have ever watched it, called Hamilton, where a lot of the white people were not played by white people, and I watched that and I go, "This is brilliant." It was right. It won a lot. It won a lot of awards and whatnot. It was great, well put together. It was awesome to me, very awesome, right? But I didn't hear a shakeup, right? Maybe there was, but I didn't hear so many people saying, "Oh my gosh, Thomas Jefferson was not black," right?
As far as they
know. I don't know the whole parts, but right.
His kids are, but
at least half. Zinger! Hey. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my question is right now, why is a fictitious? It's a fairy, for crying out loud. Maybe they're purple. I have no idea. I've never really met a fairy that I can remember. Right. So what does it matter? Right now, here's the other thing I would say: would we Americans, would the public have an issue if Tinkerbell remained white but was tattooed from head to toe?
I think they go for it.
Right? We would probably be like, "Oh, that's a cool, interesting take on a fairy having those tribal right?"
But it's something we grew up. That was something that we grew up with, saying this is what it is, and we accepted it, and that's up to the person if they accept it, because this is the persona that they wanted to put off for it. If there's a different persona that they want to see happen, then they can. I don't want to say complain about it, but they can make a statement on it.
Go in Ken's direction, right? So let's keep her white tattoo up. But she's a lesbian.
Good for her.
That's going to be brilliant.
Absolutely.
That's going to create a lot of havoc.
Brilliant. And good on her.
Way to be a strong woman fairy.
Woo! Woo! Right?
That goes against what the author intended. She had a crush on Peter Pan. But we're cool with that.
Well, maybe Peter was bi.
Oh, I wouldn't. He's in tights. So
we can't.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know. Last time about that.
But I would watch that. Cool, whatever. I'd watch it more accepted than she's like, this is an uproar that's strong of her. Why? Just imagine her character, and all of a sudden the author's intentions don't matter. This is just a creative spin on.
Yeah, but hey, Tony the Kid is out here from the Reject Rundown, and there was Batgirl, I think. Right? Is that the show movie I'm thinking of, Tony? And she was African. They canceled that. They're like, "Oh, we're not going forward with this."
The original Batgirl?
No. They made the remake, like the
remake.
Live series with humans. They made her black.
So
I like that because it's a different perspective. It's a different take.
Stop being creative.
That's right.
I know where you at.
Right?
All right, we're gonna nice white superhero.
All right, I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna sit back and be like everyone else.
Look at the big controversy though that they had about who's that? The Elba, right? Yeah, one of the best actors you're gonna find. Dude's brilliant at it, and he was going to be 007.
Yeah,
and there was a big hey, people were more accepting that 007 was going to be a woman than a black man. Right? Go.
I just real quick for Ted. Ted said, my only problem is that they changed the character for what the author intended. My response is Revelations 14 and 15. Description of Jesus. Skin was darker, hair was woolly in texture. So if we're getting upset that they changed the author's intentions and descriptions.
Hey, have you seen History of the World too? It's brilliant.
Yeah. If we're getting an uproar about Tinkerbell, okay, when I have to read here that it says the skin was bronze, the skin was darker, and his hair was woolly in texture, and I have to watch the lead singer from Hanson be my Christ. Wow.
Yeah.
I have to say it every Sunday. That don't sound right. We're fitting the description. There's a dark gentleman, woolly in hair. Who's arresting Kent Jones? No one. But every Sunday we're like, yeah, that makes sense. But Tinkerbell is upsetting.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't go against the author's description or depiction of that individual who could be purple, green, yellow, whatever. We wouldn't care. But as soon as she's brown, that's where you've gone to. Come on, man.
I know, and that's silly. And
Yeah, but
that's
and
unfortunately
I haven't seen a picture. So it's probably, again, I'll go back to Miss Berry. It's probably that color. I mean, she ain't like Nubian, right? I mean,
and if she was, it's
okay.
Berry.
Who gives a shit? And it's not even real.
hey.
Whoa, well, in my world,
you got to clap because if you say fairies aren't real, one dies. If you've ever watched Hook,
yes, yeah, that's right. So Tony the Kid says yes. Batgirl movie was going to be played by black women, but got canceled. Batwoman show changed from a white woman to a black woman that got canceled. Yeah, right. So there it is. But so my issue is, and I always try to look at the grander scheme of things, is why is this such a big deal right now? And why is it upsetting so many people? Hey, guess what? She's black. Wonderful. Don't go watch the movie. Don't choose not to.
Your question is the $1 million question. Why is it upsetting to people?
Right? Now, maybe it's upsetting to people because powers that be want to pass anti-slavery things.
What if it's something though that's changing what they believed as a child growing up, that Tinkerbell has to be a white girl, right? It changes what they were born and raised on. Tinkerbell's still Tinkerbell to me. I don't care what color she is. Okay. She's doing what she's doing in the movie.
Give me an age. Are you talking old dudes in their 50s, or when Well,
let's just go with us in the 50s. This is something
when Walt Disney, who of course was a fine, upstanding individual
that we know of.
Jim Crows, Crows and Dumbo,
right?
And those are the first black kids. Anyway,
but again, and when they say it's the happiest place on earth, and all I see is parents yelling at their kids. So if you go there, like your definition of happy is different than
they do get a few minutes of happiness.
So,
but the road there and the time there is definitely tumultuous.
So, is it that we have to create? We have to stir the pot. We have to drop some acid into this because we're trying to do things in the South now. And we're not going to go down a political, but we're trying to pass some laws. We're trying to do some things that says, if you have a certain letter behind your name that supported slavery, you can't vote. And this is 2023, and they're trying to pass this law. So am I trying to irritate enough people to go, you're right. You know what? They're making Tinkerbell black. That's ridiculous. Pass that law.
Gives people just something to bitch about, in my mind. People just are so unhappy that they got to find something to bitch about.
But wait, there's more.
The image of an angry hillbilly snapping his overalls, complaining about Tinkerbell's color.
right?
That just brought me so
much. People don't have enough things to worry about in their own life. They got to worry about something like this that they have no control over.
But there's a state. There's a state in these here United States that is trying to pass an anti-slavery law. It says if you belong to a certain letter, that you can't vote because that letter supported slavery way back.
Okay, back when that was an acceptable part of life, unfortunately.
Never was acceptable.
Well,
profitable,
very profitable. But I mean, that was what the world was back then, right? It wasn't right. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Thank you.
What should be right, but people accepted it as that because that was the reality that was happening back then. And if they pushed against it,
and if you don't think it still happens today,
it happens every day.
There are people who speak a different language than I do who work for a lot less than I would. But that's a whole other show. But I'll call that fair labor. Anyway, go ahead.
Fair.
Anyway, so here's what I'm trying to say. This particular state is governed by somebody who, well, there's a lot of people in these here United States who think this man might in some point run a certain colored house, right?
Right.
And this state governed by this man. Seriously? And nobody's going, okay. So if I can pass this here, when I'm able to play in a rose garden,
Right.
by a certain colored house,
Right.
guess what I can do? That's got to be
whatever
scary.
you want to try.
That's got to be a little scary, right?
Well, you've seen it work in your state.
There's just scary that there's a guy out there like that, in my mind.
Just the fact that he's taking away the votes, though.
Mm.
It would be like, wait, you're from McHenry, I'm from Crystal Lake, right?
Right.
And you move to Crystal Lake, I move to McHenry. Once I get here, I say, hey, anyone who lives in Crystal Lake can't vote.
Yep.
And this is a higher population. Well, then who's left to vote for my state to get me into that house?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what I'll say is, well, this city believed in slavery.
Right.
So what I'm doing, looking like the knight in shining armor, is I'm saying, hey, anyone who believes like this,
Mm.
even though our parties switched,
Right.
now I'm going to look back at that time period and say, hey, even though
Right.
ideology-wise that should be us,
Mm.
if you live in this town, if you identify with this letter, you can't vote anymore.
So look into that a little bit deeper. The person that's wanting to change this and get that law passed, what's the agenda there? How is this?
That's
going
what we're asking.
Right. So how is that going to better him and his state or even the world? I don't know a whole lot about what you're talking about, but to me, it sounds all negative and bullshit. Like there's no good to come out of that.
Yes. So his state, let's just say that you make an error on a piece of paper and you have a little bottle and you're able to white out the black ink.
Okay.
That's how that benefits my state.
So everybody in Crystal Lake is black. Now they can't vote.
Yeah.
Who's left to vote? Just me and my McHenry voters.
Right.
Who happen
So
to not
their agenda of what they're
happen to
trying to
not be.
accomplish, right,
Right.
is going to
So-
pass. And that's where in this world, a lot of the ignorance is caused so much strife for the world. And they don't think about things like this. They'll just find something to complain about it and not do anything about it. Right. Like when it comes time,
like a black thinker.
right. Well, like for me, I get pissed off when you hear people complaining and
Yeah.
bitching and moaning about, let's just say, changing the speed limit to 55 or whatever. They're going to bitch about it. Well, then I can't go 70. Well, no, you can still go 70, but you have to accept the consequences of it. Right. And that's.
But in this one, there's no speed limit or consequence. Who's going to check you if this group has to remain silent? Who in McHenry is going to tell me that's wrong?
Well, there's a consequence if this guy gets voted in.
And that's what
everyone left to vote is his people.
that's right.
Right. But
Yeah.
but
That's
there's an agenda there. Right.
Yeah,
Right. So there's going to be a big consequence. And some people are going to be like, oh, yeah, that's the greatest thing until that consequence happens. And they go, oh, fuck. Did I really just do that?
So then we decide to hook arms and walk across the bridge in Selma.
And how'd that go?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, you understand? This is how it snowballs. Now, ignorance is what it is. It's not necessarily bliss. Ignorance is ignorance, right? And to what Phil is saying, for those people who don't know, this certain party run by a guy with a chin beard and a top hat says, "Oh, we were very against this 407 years ago."
Like
Right.
I did that.
Yet, right? Then what happens is that same penny-driven party would be they said they moved to Crystal Lake. They're like, well, you know what? And the party who was not under, well, let's just say under a penny, right? Was the part that said, yeah, way back then, yes, we stand up and we want these people as our labor, right? And we're going to treat them the way we want to treat them because that's our laborers, right? But then they go, whoops, and the two said, I'm coming over here, you come over here now,
right?
And now the driven, the driven by the penny people are basically saying it was just these people. Don't look behind the curtain now,
Right?
Because you don't, right? Again, a lot of people don't know that, so a lot of people in their ignorance are going to get behind this guy and go, yes, Yeah, you want fair? Here's fair. We freedom. We're guys.
Well, it's unfortunate because a good
Yet they
portion of
don't. Yet they don't know that not so much anymore.
Right. Well, I think, and what the comment you're making, I think, is unfortunate because there are so many people in this world that are ignorant and just choose to try to sweep things underneath the cover. And no, just what it is. I can't change it.
But there are so many people who are brilliant,
Right?
that can't be. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
Silence.
clarify that a little bit more.
What do you
So you're saying people that are brilliant but can't be. He's brilliant.
Right. What are you saying?
He's
Like
done
if I'm told that if I affiliate myself, so let's say that I was this letter, the Crystal Lake letter,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And they're telling me if I have this Crystal Lake letter, then I can't vote anymore. Then you can't hear my brilliance. My words are vetoed. So I can't have any input. I can't tell you, hey, what you guys are doing or setting up is wrong.
Right, and that's
So
squashing
here's-
free speech.
So here's
But that's what they're doing
That's
with
changing
this
the.
bill.
That's
here's
changing.
brilliance.
Right.
This man owns more than one business. He's brilliant, right? If he and my daughter are at the gym coaching young kids, and Colette goes, "Hey Phil, I need a lift home," and so Phil's or actually Phil goes, "Hey Colette, I need a lift home." So Colette's in her car, license plate to her name. She's driving, and she's speeding. And you know what they're gonna do? Ma'am, are you okay?
That's unfortunate.
That's why that's why they're silent.
Free will.
That's why they're silent.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And that's ignorance. That's ignorant because that cop is right
To you
away.
and
He's
I.
going stereotype, black man, white girl.
To you and I.
Right. It's ignorance to everybody. If you really just think about it and really pay attention to this, what's going on.
Right.
Just because Phil
But
happens
guess what?
to be African American
But
and your
guess what?
daughter happens to be a cute little white girl,
But guess what?
you're there. You know.
Hey, she's a badass bitch. But guess what?
Okay, let me recant that statement.
But guess what? Guess
Phil's Phil, but she's cute.
This is what the cop sees, right?
Answer.
But this is what the cop sees because of the color of your skin.
Right.
Something is off,
But you know what?
and that's fuck.
Yeah,
up.
yeah, but you know what? Because I passed an anti-slavery law that got accepted, he got no. If he opens his mouth, guess what? You're done. Because now the laws have passed that says, well, if there's a black person in the car, it's their fault. No matter what it is. Got a flat tire? Their fault. Speeding? Their fault. Right? What did you do? You see what I'm saying? That's where we're headed. Go ahead.
So then the other part about keeping it with it is, let's say this party, the Crystal Lake people have always said, I haven't seen McHenry do anything for this group.
Yep.
Right. So then we do the switch. Now this group says, hey, anyone who ever had this belief, we are against it.
Yep.
But we know this was us.
We know we come from Crystal Lake.
We know that we did the move.
Right.
Right.
But now you can't use, I've never done anything for this again, because here I am doing anti-slavery, but you know that it was you. So now you get the praise and but for like this by deceiving people. I don't like that part.
No, that's not a
That's
good
how
America.
that's how the government works is through deception to get things changed.
I
in
didn't
the
say
past.
that.
I didn't.
Right.
I'm saying it
For the
because
record, Your
I'm,
Honor.
I'm saying I'm saying it because it freaking
Yeah.
infuriates me.
Hey,
When I have to listen to some of this stupid shit going on in the world that really
Mark,
shouldn't have
Mark
to be
knows,
thought about.
Mark knows my daughter. He's like, I think the police should ask Phil. He's okay.
Officer, thank God.
Ted says that's the same thing a disabled person owning a home in a rich neighborhood would get. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of biases, right? But I would say this, Ted, and I know that you have fought that fight, but now make it you still have a voice because you're white. You understand what I'm saying? You still have a voice because you're white. However, put an African American in that same chair in that same neighborhood, and they make it a sitcom. Different strokes. I mean,
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince. Hey.
Born and raised,
Yeah. Right. So that's what I'm saying is we are teetering on a very dangerous time for humans. Because where does it stop? Right.
But so like, and we love Ted. So
Yes.
it's not a bad thing. We've talked about this with Indians on the train.
Yeah.
Right. What happens a lot of times if we highlight this, and Ted says, well, what about my situation? And he's valid in his belief. But what a lot of people will discredit this conversation, and then this gets passed, and then when this power is in power, and they say, oh, it also applies to people in wheelchairs too.
Yep.
Ted's going to ask why I don't have his back.
Yep.
When I asked you to have my back, it was all about this.
Yep.
We can't wait till we're specifically getting kicked off the train, like the Ukraine analogy. If we see that it's unfair and just, whatever the case may be, like, let's be gun-ho for it. Don't just wait till it's convenient or specific for you.
Mm-hmm. So the issue that I have with all of this, guys, is we have taken out humanity, and we're trying to make holding people down a political thing. It makes no difference. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care what, right? But here it is that we know, when I say we, the powers that be, and you can judge on the color of that snow, right? Is we are saying that it didn't. I don't care what you think. How are you registered? Right? Oh, you're a D or you're an R. Oh, you're an R? Good. Oh, there's 6 black people who are R's in America. See? We're inclusive.
That's the only ones you'll hit the share button.
Hey, we're inclusive. You understand what I'm saying? It makes no difference. This has nothing to do with we're trying to make race a political issue. It's not. It's a person issue. It's a human being issue.
Absolutely.
Right? And you understand that. Like I said earlier, is do you could I see your green card? You don't have one. Do you speak English? No, not so well. I will have you do this job for $3 an hour
versus 20 if you're white.
Yeah.
Right.
But we say there's no racism. You understand what I'm saying? So where does it stop? Right?
It stops with the people if they can wake up.
Yeah.
And actually be realistic and stop perceiving things and letting people twist stuff that it shouldn't be twisted, and just understand that this is what it is, right? And I think a lot of the shit that people bring up about is just, to me, it blows my mind. One, that people are actually making such big, huge issues out of some of these things, right? When they're not being the change that they want to see in the world. They're just going to bitch about it. So where do you get from there? I'm just going to bitch about it nonstop? No, you've got to do something to change that. That, in this particular case, would be not voting for this idiot wherever you're talking about, and understanding what's going on. Having the knowledge to go, this guy's just wrong on so many freaking levels. Why would you even consider it? Well, because it makes my life easier, maybe. Right? Or it's what is it, the greater good. Right. And the ignorance is what kills all that, because they're the ones that are going to be out there just texting and sending all these messages out and creating an uproar over something that shouldn't really be an uproar. If your God is white and my God is black, I don't give a shit. Right? I mean, you believe in what you believe and you do what you want to do. I mean, it's to me, it's simple, but it's not. But in my mind, I try to simplify things, right? In order to, I don't want to say justify, but in order to justify and to figure out how things are, I try to look at things at their basic, raw level.
When was the last time you were profiled?
Every time I drive by in my white truck with the freaking shit written on the back of it.
Yep, and the
cops pull me over and go, "What are you doing, man?"
Attaboy.
Yeah, right. Depending on the saying, I might get an attaboy. I might.
Attaboy.
But no, I mean, I haven't in that respect. Right. I mean, I don't get profiled, and I'm just a crazy white boy driving around in my, hillbilly pick-em-up truck.
Right.
So I guess I am,
so
but
Drew,
I'm not getting pulled over because I'm a white
Drew
boy.
Cappuccino, Drew, good to have you in on this show. Says, hey guys, Drew here. I'm identifying as a native Italian today.
And you keep doing that, sir, because that's your choice.
That's it. Right.
We love it.
And what Ted is saying is, he says discrimination in this world goes deeper than colors, and it absolutely does.
Yeah,
it absolutely does. Women, women, health, take a look at anybody with any physical ailment or mental ailment. My wife works with kids with autism all day, and just the way that they talk to kids with autism,
God bless her
I
heart.
kind of scratched my head, right? Like, damn.
Well, because they treat some of them, they treat like they're not even human.
Right?
But it's sad. I'm talking to your case. I understand these guys' case. Well, Pierre's been silent the whole time, so I'm wondering. And that's sad. You know what I mean? But can you change? Can you physically change what's happening to that by them teaching? By talking to them that way?
We can change
right,
it by
but I
one
mean,
listener
what you're
at a time.
talking about in that instance, it's something you see that bothers you.
All right.
You have a place to speak.
So, Let me try something. You go ahead. Keep talking, you guys.
Well, I'm just saying that's something that irritates you, that you have a choice to try to fix that. Just like this show, right? This is a choice to come in and do this and talk about this because this is what needs to be done. So many people in this world don't talk about it. They just accept it and move on. Why? Because it's easier. That's just the way it is. And that's the way I was growing up. I'm not going to change. Right? This is the way my life was. Tinkerbell was white. Tinkerbell can't be African-American. Why not?
Or not. But they won't take the step back and be like, well, now come to think of it, everybody who was drawn at that time was white.
Right. But what word did you just use? Think about it. A lot of people aren't thinking. They're just accepting what's going on, and they're playing follow the leader. And if you ain't the leader, the view never changes. But if you sit behind everybody and go, oh, that's just the way it's supposed to be. It's just the way it's supposed to be.
All right.
At some point, though, you would think that they would come to that reasoning and understanding, like, you know what, at that time, everyone that I saw was white. Maybe it's cool for it to be a little different nowadays. Something different nowadays. Maybe it'd be cool to have representation because we've talked about this on the show. There's been so many things done fearfully out of numbers dwindling, what it looks like on behalf of the whites. But even in a situation like this, like why are you so fearful about numbers dwindling like that you take it into make-believe? Like for us, we don't have any representation until like you need a bodyguard or a drug dealer or an athlete. Let us see something else too. Why this? Why do you have to have all the superheroes and all the imaginary people and everyone that's a doctor or someone respectful on television? Like, share. It's okay.
Yeah, give us a piece of a puzzle. Give us a piece of the pie, right?
All right. It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that.
You guys remember soap operas? Mm-hmm. Remember all the black people? Oh no.
Yeah.
All of it, right.
The Young and the Restless.
Yeah. No.
They had a token black person on The Young and the Restless.
A token.
A token.
Right.
I'm saying like a pillar character. No, sir. Yeah.
No, you know what? Right. You can't think of that.
So
and a lot of them were made in Texas.
That's what we're saying. Like, so if that's the case, and we know what the commercials look like, the movies look like, then it's Tinkerbell.
All right. So here,
people just choose to pitch.
There. Let's share that picture so everybody can see. So we've got the cartoon Tinkerbell, and she's pretty white. Now, Tinkerbell and Hook was also played by Julia Roberts, right? So again, another good-looking lady. All right. Now, this gal.
Why is the black Tinkerbell picture so dark?
Why were the 5 police shown in hoods with dim light?
I mean, that's a mental play right there.
Oh, that's what we talk about on here.
That's what I'm saying. Her picture is
look at this.
Much darker and harder to read. Why?
Hey, where I come from, that looks like good eating too. I just am saying that, right?
Okay, kills me. And I'll give you guys credit when you guys come back from Mexico on spring break. If I'm on an island that's tropical, I'm not lily white.
I hope to not come back lily white. I'm hoping to have a little bit of color to myself.
I'd give you credit, like, man, that is him. Like,
and you look, you know what's funny is people say, you look really healthy. Well, what? I didn't look healthy when I was pasty.
Now here's the issue. Here's the issue, right? People made a lot of fun about Barbie and her dimensions, but look at them hips on the white Tinkerbell, man. Mr. Disney had a little dunk it on there.
Hips, right?
See, I'm just saying, right? Nobody brought that up.
Well, they probably did, but back then when it first started, there wasn't the internet to bitch and moan. But look, crazy about.
And here's where I'm going. We didn't choose a Nubian queen for this, right? This is 7-8 creams in your coffee. I mean it, right? I mean, this is not. She's a beautiful lady, right? We and we
I know that blend. It looks like a McDonald's iced coffee.
Right. So as we take a look at this, why is that offensive to anybody? I don't right?
Ignorance.
Right? No, it's what we want to do. Right? We just can't be happy with change. We can't be happy with any.
Right.
You know what? This is and here's the problem too. When it comes to make believe, any movie, make believe, right? Any fictional thing, make believe. How do I? That's like me telling you your opinion's wrong. I don't. It's your opinion. This is my view on what this is, right? We can go to we all had to read it, right? The Lord of the Flies, right? And we all pictured a bunch of little white kids beating up on each other, right? Now, if Pierre goes, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be show these black kids beating up on each other. Guess what everybody's going to say? Yeah, of course. Well, this isn't
normal.
This is normal, right?
Ignorance.
But here's the issue, Scott, and I want you to stop saying that. That's a cop out. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could see
Right?
where you're saying it's a cop out, but for me, it's a reality that a lot of people just aren't truly informed on what's going on, and can look at it with an open mind. Right? They're basing it off of their past experience and how they were brought up, and they're not wanting to change because change for people is scary as hell. So they just that's just the way it is. That's the way it was, and I'm just going to accept it. And to me, that is ignorance.
But you have like a world of people who say like, I believe this way because I've only seen this character look like this, right?
Yeah.
So a suspicious character dresses like this, right? Now we're trying to show you a suspicious character actually dresses in that same outfit. Is it still suspicious? Is it just as suspicious? Hey, this character all this time has looked this way. So if you're going to say that I preconceived notions on individuals and cultures based off what I've been programmed to how they look, okay, let's give you a different look at them so that you stop looking at them like criminals and thugs and anything like that. We can't look at them like that. Even hypothetically,
Change your perception.
Even in Neverland, you can't pretend.
Well, that's it's a cartoon. It's Neverland. That's the whole idea, isn't it? I mean, that's the whole idea behind stuff like this. Is imagination.
I haven't heard. I may have seen her on a show or something before. I don't even know who it is.
Oh, she was on The Wonderful World of Disney. She came in and rang her thing in the beginning of the show. Remember on the castle?
Black one.
Oh no, yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
She's crying out loud. Bree, hey coach, how are you? Glad to have you with us. Brianna says, talked with my students about this revamping of old cartoons as black characters. Majority of them just want new stories with new characters. Right. I mean, why do we have to keep rehashing? Oh, they're classics. All right, well, let them be. You can always go back and dust them off.
Right.
Right.
It's your choice.
Right.
Right.
But the new craze for the movies is to do a revamp of it with actual characters. Like they did Lion King, Jungle Book, Mulan.
There's
same
not
thing with Ariel when that came out. Right. The Little Mermaid, they did the same thing.
Yeah. Tony the Kid says she's a great actor. If she can truly act that, give her a chance. If people are going to cry about a make-believe character, then they just need to stay at home and don't pay for it. I'm with you.
Because once again, agree. This is make-believe and for kids, not for adults.
For kids. All right.
My memories, Pierre.
Nah, man.
The kids ain't bitching. It's the parents that are bitching because what they grew up with was a white Tinkerbell. They shouldn't have to see that. Why not? What difference does it make? It tells a similar story.
You watch the classics, let the new kids watch the new stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Well, back when I was a kid, I remember when Tinkerbell was white.
It's their life. It's their reality now. It's not what we grew up with. As much as we'd like our kids to grow up in certain things the way that we grew up, that's not reasonable. That's not reality anymore. You know?
But it is reality. That's the problem. That's the issue. Right? It is reality. To me, and I'm going to say, she probably doesn't they're not using Wanda Sykes' voice for that, right? And how you know what I'm saying? It's not this girl Tinkerbell. This
not again.
They're,
Jeez, there are other people,
right? Right. I'm just saying.
Goldberg.
I'm just saying
Please.
that. I'm just saying that there's
She killed it as the Purple Angel thing from Page Master. I liked her,
Man.
right?
See, so her skin tone is not pink, but I'll guarantee you her acting is as close to pink as possible.
Because she's a great actor.
Keeping it in the world of make believe. They recently released Velma from Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
right, on HBO Plus, and it's a new series. It's probably more of an adultish spin on the Scooby Doo series.
She was a freak.
Yeah, because her and Daphne are lesbians, and the review.
Get out.
So yes, Daphne's no longer with Fred. There's no dog. Shaggy's black, but Velma and Daphne
I'm
are
glad
lesbians.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
Right. But it was a creative spin on a classic.
Sure,
Great. That's someone else's interpretation.
but we were okay with them.
But we
being
were
lesbian.
okay with that.
Were we?
Even though Velma is, but look, they
Didn't
made
hear an uproar.
because it's the I apologize, I don't know her name. It's the female Indian comedian. She's in the off
Oh, The Office. Yeah,
Her,
yeah. I know.
Wendy.
right.
Yeah.
So it's her series that she made, and Velma looks like her.
All right, nice.
All right.
So now Velma's Indian and a lesbian. No uproar.
That's strange.
Why is that? There's not even a dog.
A lot of people pay good money to see that.
That's in Mexico, sir.
Again, that's good eating. Never mind. If you know what I mean.
Damn. Yeah, you're killing me. Alice, if you're listening, I'm
Hey,
not
Rob.
quite sure.
Hey, Rob.
Rob,
That's the barbecue guy.
Oh,
Good people.
nice. Yeah,
if you're ever in Texas, go ahead and see me.
Ever in Texas.
Yeah.
He cooks for you pork shoulder?
Yep.
God.
Right on the
Phenomenal.
ball.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
are you
it-
guys inviting us to come stay with you in
Yes,
Texas
when
to
we
check
go
out
to
the
Texas,
barbecue?
come down.
So he
yeah,
says,
anytime.
fact is, people want quote unquote change, but they don't like to see change, or they're not willing to change, right? Or be willing to change, and that's the truth. I in a previous lifetime, I sold furniture, right at Krause's Custom Crafted Furniture. I think they're out of business now, but Pierre would come in. He's like, "Listen, man, I'm looking for a new couch." Okay, tell me about the couch you have. Well, it's plaid and it's got rolled arms. I don't want plaid. I don't want rolled arms. So we take him around. We show him a bunch of couches. And then 3 weeks later, we're delivering a plaid rolled arm couch with new cushions. But instead of blue plaid, it might be red. You know what I'm saying? To Rob's point, I'm coming in to get a new sofa that looks just like the old sofa.
I was going to say you're going to get the old sofa revamped
So
Yep.
that's it.
because
right?
they're staying in their comfort zone. They know that sofa
So-
worked for them.
So Tony the Kid says that show actually Velma got horrible reviews because of the change, and that also might get canceled.
But it was
But-
because the storyline was not great. Not because it was like, oh, I don't like what they did with
Right.
these two.
Right.
Just because the plot was
But again, I didn't hear a national uproar about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Why? Because we're not trying to say that lesbians can't vote. Right?
Right.
I mean, you got to understand how do we want to say it, the waterways or how the piping works, right? We want them to vote,
Right.
but we don't want them to vote, or anybody who, because you don't understand history and you don't understand what happened here in America, so you're just going to sit there going, yeah.
My letter.
It's in my letter.
But
We're the ones of freedom.
if I can have you like obligated through your loyalty, baby, like patriotism or political party, I can get you to do whatever I want.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of people aren't looking at all of the dynamics of certain individuals before they vote for on both sides.
On both sides.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just, well, he's my letter and I agree with one or two. Okay, well, have you looked at the other 8 categories in his beliefs on this individual that you're rooting so aggressively for? He's a horrible
Well, I
human
feel.
being.
Hey, Rob,
for
do,
me,
hey, Rob, do me a favor and throw up a comment with your website and your business name.
I feel bad for the people, and it also pisses me off the people that vote for an R or a D just because it's an R or a D.
Right.
That I'm going to say it out again is ignorance, because it doesn't matter what's in front of the letter
all
that's in front of their
crooks.
name,
All
right?
crooks.
Well, they're all crooks, but it's for me. I'm voting for the person that I feel
'Cause
best
your vote
suits.
matters.
I still tend to believe it does, but
It
I
does.
vote for the one that I think is going to be the change that I want to see in the world, right? Because they're the right person for the job, not they
Yep.
have the right letter in front of their name.
So with you 100% as far as like, don't do it just because that letter.
Mhm.
But isn't that same kind of blindness? This person only agrees with 2 things morally that I agree with, and I'm getting a chance now to ignore the other 8, hypothetically just for even numbers. People aren't looking at that. People are blindly, well, this person is for abortion, this person is anti-abortion. Have you looked at anything else this person believes in?
No, because that's the hot subject for them at that point, right?
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
And that's what killed our gubernatorial race.
But I can get you to blindly follow.
Here's how you
Any
want,
other
you
corrupt
want to know
thing
how
than
you end
before.
that. You want to know how you end that real quick. I always say this. I go, all right. So you say that abortion kills little kids. Yeah, you come from a state that has the death penalty. So which life means more? And then that's the silence I get. They're like,
Well, right. So I mean,
so you're saying
that's got a lot.
you're
Of,
saying
that's a lot. You can go a lot deeper into that, though.
okay, let's.
Well, I mean, a baby has no choice,
okay,
right? The baby's bringing into that, and the death penalty. Somebody realistically had a choice. It's not that their life didn't matter, but they chose in their life to do something that was on the books. let's
okay,
say,
so they
as
can
wrong.
sit in jail.
Right. But if somebody that killed somebody and you know
Yeah.
100% they killed him,
Yeah.
I'm an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You're a God-fearing man. You do something, you kill somebody, you take another life from a person. That person
Okay,
has
so-
no right to be around.
So first of all, you've taken that out of context, but that's okay. A lot of people do that Bible verse, and that's fine. That's not what it means. If I kill somebody, you kill me. Not at all what it means.
Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth is not what it means.
Not what that is not what it. But we can get
Okay.
into a Bible study at some other point, but that is not what it means. Next is you're still taking a life. A life
Yes.
is a life. Hey, if you knew it was going to be Hitler, would you kill it when it was a baby?
You don't. Yeah.
But no, listen to what I'm saying. You've decided you're standing up and saying you can't have an abortion because that kills somebody. Oh, sorry that we thought you killed somebody, or you said you killed somebody because we held a light to you and made you say you killed somebody.
Right.
We're going to kill you now. What a life is a life. It
It
doesn't matter. And if you're in jail for it, stay there. That's it. So you can't have that argument. You can't. That's it. That's my
that person that chose to do that crime that put them in jail was a choice.
uh-huh.
Aborting a baby, a life that has no choice, is that baby has no choice. This person decided to go against what the laws and rules and regulations were.
That doesn't mean you kill them.
Well, why do I want to? If this person 100%, we know for 100% fact,
Yeah,
did
right.
this crime, killed
Absolutely.
somebody,
100.
why do you want to pay for that guy to sit in? I don't wanna
Because
say
a
the
life
easy
is a life, Scott.
Yeah, but I'm not about to sit there. Let someone
Exactly.
sit there.
You see what I'm
in
saying?
jail. Yeah.
You're saying because I believe this way, it's okay. Because I don't believe this way, it's not okay.
Well, and that's
That's what I'm saying.
Everyone,
a
right.
life is a life. Doesn't
life
matter if
is
it's
a
in the womb or in the prison. The prison cell is a womb. They just have to stay there. There you go.
and you got to pay for it.
Who cares?
Me.
Who cares? Right? Now, and then we can always walk down the aisle saying, okay, yes, we're absolutely 100% sure we killed that man. 30 years later, we go, oops, guess what just came out? Sorry,
In a sense.
Right.
made a mistake.
Right. And there are
Yep.
those circumstances, but I'm saying 100%. We know Dahmer did what he did. He admitted it. We wanted to study his brain.
All right, beautiful, Rob. He says don't have a website, but just cook to put a smile on people's faces. I love that.
There you go.
Yeah, he liked dark meat too, so that was good.
Jesus.
That's true. Why does everybody laugh? It's true.
You're gonna like Rob. Rob's gonna come over here in June.
Yeah, that's true. Right? Listen, and here's what I'm saying is that's your belief, and your stance right there is exactly why Black people are still held down in America. Period.
I don't follow that one.
Absolutely.
Elaborate.
Look, because you sit here and say, hey, they have all the same rights as I do. They have this, they have that. Yet we're still trying to pass laws to say that if you they can't vote
If you're affiliated with that party.
if you're affiliated with a party.
Well, that's absolutely just ridiculous. The fact that
So
that's
is
even-
taking somebody's life to me.
to you, right?
You see what I'm saying? And
I
it's
totally
that
understand it,
attitude,
right.
right?
And it's your-
Everybody's got their preference.
It's your preference,
Right?
it's your choice, and it's how you choose to live, and that's your right to choose how you want to live. But when something like this comes up, you need to make sure you
Mhm.
stand up for what you believe in, and
Mhm.
make sure that you can make that change
Mhm.
if you want to make that change. But a lot of people don't; they just jump
Mhm.
on the bandwagon.
So
Yeah,
how-
that's fine.
So how many African Americans made that law, the death penalty law?
That's an unanswerable question. I don't know. And why we're not only talking about African Americans in this respect.
I'm just saying.
Killing a person's killing a person.
What I'm trying to say, I'm trying to pull out a point, right?
Pull it out.
It's white man's law all the time, right?
It's like the war on drugs, right? Like
Yep.
it was intended to get rid of a certain group. So if I make these laws and I understand that if he
Elaborate,
rapes
Dan.
a little kid and I shoot a person in the hood, only one of us is going to get the penalty. But he just destroyed a kid's life. We both did horrible things. But I know the laws that were set in place for this are going to take my life, and the pedophile gets to be back on the street because we golf with him.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So that's where he's like saying certain laws, like the death penalty. If you look at who's going to get that chair or that injection, more it's not. He's not in that chair.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Dan's saying every black person should be a politician, right?
Should be a political.
Right. So that's so what I'm saying is everywhere that we go, this is the tension right there, right? I look at a life as I try to swerve so I don't hit a squirrel.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like taking life. Right. I've never shot somebody. I don't know if I ever could. Right. However, I've had a gun pointed right at my head at point blank range. So I got scared. Right. And I thank God every day that man was too scared to pull a trigger. Okay. It's just the truth. Right. But the bottom line is a life is a life. Doesn't matter to me. So but here's what happens in America. We play both sides of that coin. Well, they broke the law. No, that's baby Hitler in the womb. Oh yeah, we'd kill baby Hitler if we knew they were going to be back. Oh, there you go. That's what mom was trying to do. Oh.
Yeah, but they don't know. When it comes to a baby, you have no idea what that baby is or isn't,
Mhm.
right? You know what that
Mhm.
person that's being on trial that did something wrong did.
Mm-hmm.
And there's rules and there's consequences
Mhm.
for everything you do.
Created by a lot of pink skinned people.
Probably.
Yeah, let's get some Native Americans in here. Let's ask them how fair it is.
Right? That would be a great show.
The problem with black people is we don't need to vote or be a Democrat or Republican. Dan says that. I didn't.
I was just
Let the
gonna
white
say,
guy-
hold
let
on,
the white
bro,
guy
you
go.
gotta
Let
clarify.
the
All right,
white guy say it.
Pierre sat up on that one. Let's hear it, Pierre.
Right.
It got Pierre's attention. Look at he's not right on that mic.
God for specifying that I was damn in this shit.
That was him.
He was about ready to swing.
No, my mom was about to call me in 3, 2.
He is off the Christmas list. He is off the Christmas list.
Yeah. Right.
I think what he's saying is like you can't just be programmed because like like the pun is or the story is like black people just tell black people to vote Democrat because it's just what
Right.
we do.
Right.
And you can't do that. You have to look at what a person believes in and stands for, and then make your decision that way. If you took away letters, do you like this individual? Are they
Right.
actually
And are they going to do what you need them to
That is
do?
correct.
and how many things do they check that you agree with morally or disagree with morally before you just go blindly to following that individual? I think that's what he's saying.
And Bree says, "Oh, I wouldn't be so quick to generalize." Right. So it is. It's a tough thing, and look at all of this passion started because Tinkerbell is now a sister.
I just
A yummy sister, from what you
Right.
said.
I just feel like if it's this hard for I'll just say if it's this hard for white people to see a black Tinkerbell, don't argue with me that it's tough for y'all to see black doctors.
I don't honestly see why it's so freaking tough to see a black Tinkerbell.
I hear you,
It
but
makes
and because you're at this table, right? Willing to have a conversation. I'm saying
Right.
like the fact that there's an uproar.
There is.
So when we say on the show that like, man, they don't want to see us in any other role outside of this, it's not an argument. We're frustrated with Neverland.
Yeah.
Currently.
You're
Right?
frustrated with fictitious
Right.
Yep.
So when it
Cartoon
comes,
characters.
so when it comes to, like, we had the conversation after the Kyrie Nike thing, and I said, okay, if you don't want to have these situations, show us in a different light. So that way, when you're like, I've only seen this and been programmed to believe these characters
So,
are unsafe,
let me
great. Be open to it.
let me ask you this: do you think that they did that on purpose to create an uproar?
I do, because it happened.
Why?
Like, Disney just did it again with Little Mermaid. There was the same uproar. Anytime they do this and they use a
Right.
minority, like, this is the uproar. But for
What's
what
it? What's
reason?
it doing with your attention to the rest of the world?
That's what I'm saying. We talk about
Right.
it's motion. It's run the play that works, that distracts from the bigger thing, right? And if I do this again, and I don't have an issue personally with Disney, but if I'm a company that's been allegedly involved in either racism or pedophilia, I can post this person and, like, look, see, I love you guys.
Right.
We just gave y'all another one.
Right. But if your choice, it's your choice to get involved and watch that stuff, right?
Right.
And it's your choice to make an uproar about it if it's a valid thing worth arguing about. And I don't want to say using your time to argue this.
But
what is going to come out of it? Any good? I don't know.
Possibly, but again, like I said in the beginning of the show, I've never seen people argue Revelations 1:14 through 15 as aggressively they argue the color of Tinkerbell.
And that's sad.
So if we're still negating Skin of Bronze, but we don't like that she's tan on an island, and you just need some consistency.
It's getting everyone's goat. It's keeping them focused.
There's
on
a lot
shit.
of people who like to step over that. Anyway,
It's like we're gonna go Revelations 1
Hey.
to 13. We're gonna skip these two here. We're gonna
That's
pick
right.
back up
So,
to 16.
That's
Maybe,
right.
maybe having
Trust
a black Tinkerbell is going to distract everybody from, and then this guy
Dan-
that you're talking
Dan
about is going
says
to get in.
Dan says it's tough to see a black Tinkerbell because it takes away a sense of power. Tony the Kid says God created people, people created race. People in America need to be bringing up that someone is a different color.
Yeah, be open
Color
to it.
shouldn't matter. It's the actor.
We
it's
didn't
what's
do
going on.
that with Green Lantern.
What?
Yeah, I did. Was Green Lantern originally black, and then he's portrayed as white? I don't know.
They
Well,
did-
there's-
they
I'm
did-
not a
they
big.
did
I'm not a
Green Lantern
big.
with the black- well,
there's
black
different-
I'm not a big cartoon.
There's different
guy.
lanterns. So, like, for a couple, let's say a couple years, you were the Green Lantern. You passed, the ring gets passed to Pierre.
Yeah.
It's not that there was only one Green Lantern. Like, that's how the storyline.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds got it because an alien died and it came to him, so it wasn't just one.
And Ted says, I don't vote for a particular party. I vote based on who I feel will run this country.
And
to
that's the
benefit
way it
this
should
country
be.
Best. And that too, and that could be a whole different show, but that too is a fallacy too, because the president doesn't run this country, people.
Just a
Nor,
figurehead.
nor does Congress. So we'll lay that out there.
Big business runs the country.
Oh no.
I don't know who
no,
sings it,
silly.
but I'm Your Puppet just started playing in my head.
Is
That's Puppet Masters. That's like Metallica or something,
Master
right?
of
I'm
Puppets is
your
pulling
puppet.
your strings.
Right?
All right, so listen.
Top of the hour.
Listen, this
Holy
is
shit.
it runs by fast. But the bottom line is you have to be paying attention because there are people who are trying to get things passed that make absolutely no sense and will continue to hold people.
That's the political system, unfortunately.
That's a cop out.
No, it's not.
Say that. It's an absolute.
It's the
cop-out.
way it's the way the political system is run, and we've allowed it. We haven't tried to change it.
Who's it designed for?
Pink people.
Pink people.
Well, let's change that shit.
That's it.
It's 2023.
I feel like that's y'all's word. I can't call white people pink people.
I can't either. The fact that he said it
I'm
just
uncomfortable.
There's only two things I like pink. That's my lemonade and
we ain't.
that's it.
Hey, we ain't white. Y'all ain't black. I mean,
Man,
right? That's what
I
you're
get it
black.
now.
I'd rather you call me pasty than pink.
I don't know.
Man.
That's pink, bro. Look at your face. He's pink.
not for us.
Yeah, you got to do it like Congress.
Hey,
Right?
how much do you need to do that? Home deal?
All right,
Can we
listen,
get
we
that
got to run.
fast?
Come back in about a half hour for Innovative Strategies with Bill Hasse. This guy, good stuff today. Bill, who you got coming in? Nick Ferriolo. He's not Tinkerbell.
Right.
And this guy is he's an author, great what I would say is a thought guy. He's got good stuff. He'll be joining Bill's show, which is great. And we're what are we talking about?
How to deal with your gremlins.
How to deal with your gremlins or your demons is a good deal.
Let's go to the dealer and get the right parts.
That's right.
Nice.
All right. Great show, everybody. Thanks, Ted. Pay attention to the life going on around you. Time to be better, to change for the better. Amen to that.
That's
And with that, Ted also says, I completely agree with you, Ken. There we go. For us,
Nobody
all
ever
here.
agrees with Ken. He's ending the show now.
We'll leave it on
What?
that. We'll leave it on that one. Listen, folks.
Ken goes out on a high.
If you don't follow us, like us, go to the Bridge community on Facebook. You're going to see us out there. It's a great place. There's great conversations out there. Like us, follow us out on Twitch, Twitter, tweets, wherever. We're everywhere. Like, follow, subscribe, share us out. The more listeners we get, the better that this gets. If you have topics you want to talk about, send them to info@216thenet.com.
And if you have not yet, go to Apple Music and follow or subscribe to 216 The Net on
Yep.
Apple Music too.
You can listen live all the time. For all of us here, thanks for joining us. And remember, maybe next week I'll be played by an African American.
Yes.